Luis Heel, Jake, just delivered. This is a huge series for the Yankees. I know you weren't happy about him being pulled when he got pulled, but I'll take this, right? We got 6 no-hit innings. I'm sure, Jake, you take it as well. And we were talking about the control before this started. It was a huge concern. In some of these big games, you have to keep the ball in the strike zone. Base runners are just no good in these type of games. Didn't matter. He went out there and controlled this game. The 4 walks, 4 Ks. Most importantly, those runners were all stranded. Boston combined 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Now, that all wasn't against Heel, but it's just a nice job from our staff today. I mean, how often, Jake, do we even say that? It's just, this game happens once every blue moon. Let's just celebrate that. Aaron Judge hit his 47th home run of the year. That ball was absolutely cremated. 467 feet, I believe it was. The talk before the series was that Judge, and I believe one of our mods in Apex brought up that Judge, he's got to play better. He has to play better, not just in the regular season, because you're talking about what he's doing. We're talking about contenders in the regular season. The Jays, Boston, Houston. We need to play better. 99 has to play better baseball. He set the tone right from the first inning. I thought that sent a message. Hitting a ball practically across the street at Fenway Park is a tough job. We're going to talk Jazz Chisholm. 2 for 4 stolen bases. And Jake, we talked about it before the game. Stolen bases 29 and 30. So he is one step closer to that 30-30 season. He was all over the place tonight. He was hosed at third base, making the first out of an inning. I think Buck Showalter, Jake, probably would have ran out onto the field and killed him. He also had a throwing error over Ben Rice's head, so we'll talk about it. But overall, it was a busy day from Jazz, and I think when he gets away from the home run ball and is just finding his way on the base pass, he just wreaks havoc, and it's what he does. He was the most impactful player on the field today, and I absolutely love that. So good for him. And Jake, somehow, some way, maybe you thought this would be, but Jose Caballero was actually my favorite part of the game today. He actually manufactured a run all by himself. He gets on base with a knock, he steals a bag, and he goes on contact from third base on a Ryan McMahon grounder. And, I mean, literally manufacturing a run by himself. Manufacturing runs for the Yankees, seeing it in real time, was the most refreshing thing I've seen in 3 months. I'm being completely honest. So I know expectations may be low of this offense, maybe from our audience as well, but Jake, that was an opportunity, right? When you're talking about a player who doesn't play every day, but now you've got this Anthony Volpe injury, he's now out there. Well, he can make an impact, and you saw it today. Cody Bellinger had himself an RBI knock, so definitely welcomed. Our bullpen, like I said, the bullpen was overall, they did their jobs, right? 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, Cruz surrendering the only run on a homer to Eaton. The only real bad news here, and this does suck, is that Baltimore let us down. Toronto falling to the Jays 6-1. It was really no contest over there. So the Yankees remain 3 games back. Still, a win away from everyone in our comment section being happy about this series. Jake, you mentioned yesterday, you introduced it. You said this was really the winnable game of the series. And not that it was an easy game, because it certainly wasn't. But how are we feeling now that the Yankees have finally they've drawn first blood?
Well, I'm feeling great. I had the Yankees winning this game. I had the Yankees winning tomorrow. I had them losing Sunday. Like, to the point where I'm like, all right, if you want to watch the Yankees strike out left and right until, through 8 innings and they take out Crochet and hope they win in the 9th, you might as well just fast forward to the 9th inning.
Yeah, we're going to turn that game on. But
yeah,
to expect a quality result, which, by the way, guys, if we just get steamrolled, you said that was Sunday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we get steamrolled Sunday, as long as you win game 2, cares? Do we want to win the game? Yes, absolutely. Should we put up a fight against really no matter which arm we see, Paul Skeens, right, and Crochet? Yes, probably. But the main thing here, Jake, you predicted they were going to win this series, but like you said, you didn't say they were going to win Sunday. So far, we're off to a pretty nice start, and this game really was in control, and the Yankees controlled this game. They were the better team through and through, and you don't usually see the Yankees play a game where you like the way they're playing from innings 1 through 9. That's just not how they play baseball anymore. But today was one of those days.
Yeah, it really was. I have to mention this before anything so I don't forget. Did you see when the Apple TV Plus broadcast, panned over to that fan who was just tearing David Hamilton to shreds?
No, I didn't see it.
I've never seen anything like that. The camera and the audio. Like, you know how they have like the thing, they hold the thing so they can get the audio? Was he cursing at him? He was like, I can't find the quote anywhere, of course, because we're live, but he was like, I don't know why this guy's in the freaking league. Like, he was like just ripping him to shreds. And it was like while David Hamilton was at the plate. And they didn't pan away. So he just kept just ripping him. Have you ever seen that before?
No, because I mean, I've been in some studios where you'd see like how the preparation goes. They're like, ready, cam 2.
Yeah.
Okay, cam 2. Ready, 4. And that's the way it goes. They're so prepared for moments like that. So to deliberately leave it on, I'm gonna have to find that. If anyone can send that to me on Twitter,
I can find it to you. I can find it for you. Find it to you. Ooh, find it to you. Yeah. It was. I've never seen anything like that. And I mean, the reason is like, I think it was Cruz was on the mound.
Oh, Cheeky said he was totally Frank the Tank like. I'm sorry. I get people, because people are like, oh, Frank the Tank and whatever. I'm like, first and foremost, do you guys not understand it's a bit? And second of all, I think it's hilarious. Like the thing with Frank the Tank where he left the ribs on the thing. You see that video?
I did not.
Oh my God. It is one of the funniest videos ever. But we're going to have to find that video. Because, I mean, it was just a bad day at the yard for Boston.
Dude, it was so funny.
By the way, you know what I didn't know about this Boston team? I didn't know this. Boston sees Toronto at the end of the year. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's been my big thing about like, okay, well, they're going to see. Yeah. No, that was kind of what I was getting at.
So who would you rather see, by the way? Now, mind you, when we get to that series, I would assume since we're trying to run down the division and we're going to play Chicago sucks, right? And this is no disrespect. They're just not a good baseball team. They didn't spend any money to be a great baseball team. If the Yankees take care of Houston and then they go into Boston and they win 2 of 3, get steamrolled Sunday, everyone's going to be down about the steamrolling. But then you go into the Chicago series and we go see, basically bad teams the rest of the way. Are you rooting for this Boston team to just trample Toronto? Is that where we're going? Because I would assume, I'm with you, I want the division. I'll be rooting for Boston in that series more than likely.
Yeah. No, I would probably say, yeah, I'm rooting. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how this series goes, right? But I feel good about this series. I feel like the Yankees they're in position. And yeah, I did just send you the video.
Well, it's technically, so Jake, okay, perfect. Technically speaking, if the Yankees, if the Yankees take care of business in this series, which is obviously what we're rooting for off the rip, if we take care of Boston, well, we kind of need Boston to go win that series now because we are going to separate ourselves from Boston in this series. And then when they go see Toronto, we need them to pull Toronto back. So it very well could be a situation where we're rooting for the Boston Red Sox to win games. Not now, but down the road against Toronto. Toronto is making this very interesting. They're continuing to win a lot more games than maybe some people thought. And Jake, I know you said that Toronto was going to somewhat collapse. They've had some come from behind wins. And you've even talked about Baltimore has really been a thorn in the side of a lot of these teams. And Toronto just shows up and beats them handedly. So they're doing their jobs. You have to give them credit when it's due. But the Yankees also deserve credit for going into Boston. There weren't a lot of people in our comments that were high on game 1 already. And that turned out to be wrong.
Cheeky Monkey wants us to show the video. Are you down?
Are we allowed to?
It's 15 seconds. I don't know.
So no, not showing it.
Yeah. I would, but I mean, we can't afford to just go live for 2 hours and not get any monetization whatsoever and have it go all to the MLB. Maybe if they worked with us a little bit or worked with, creators a little bit, that would make sense. But That whole thing is silly to me, but that's a whole other discussion. The Yankees winning this game the way they did was big. Ben Rice, I saw your tweet. You have to know when you tweet something like that about Ben Rice and the splits, I'm feeling the same way because it's just ridiculous. And so anyway.
Wait, well, I'm assuming you should just tell people what I said about Ben Rice. So I mentioned hitting against lefties. And for those of you who watch this game, Ben Rice did find his way at the plate against a lefty and had himself a nice knock. It was amazing. They made it seem like it was witchcraft when it occurred, but it's like we saw this against Chris Sale earlier in the year. And are we telling you that it's just the best solution ever, or maybe it's a better solution than what Paul Goldschmidt was? Maybe not, but you do have to develop a player. And the only way you can do that is by giving him reps. And it just so happens that now that we go into September and you have to have him play because Goldschmidt's also out there, now you start to see that he can hold his own against lefties. So I absolutely love that for him. What's most important here is what it means for Ben Rice's at-bats in October when they bring a lefty specialist out there, very similar to what we did with Nestor Cortez and obviously what happened with Freddie Freeman. People are going to bring lefties out there. They won't do it for Bellinger because he has reverse splits, but for Ben Rice, they will. So getting these at-bats in September and having success will matter to us. And it definitely will matter for those of you who think that Ben Rice should be the starting first baseman next year and they should let Paul Goldschmidt walk. Well, seeing somebody take at-bats lefty on lefty and having success, it's the only way possible that you're going to get everyday reps.
No, it's 100% accurate. Grisham's been a little bit of a slump lately. He's down to 239. So, anyway, not a huge deal. I'm not too worried about it. More so, I think the big thing was Luis Heel is finding a way to pitch around the fact that he doesn't have great control, right? That's how guys like that stay in the league. Because if you don't have great control and you can't find a way to get to 6 innings, and like you're walking guys and you're giving up runs, not going to work. But if you're walking guys and you're finding ways to get out of it, I mean, you're doing your job the hardest way possible, but you're still doing your job.
Was his control this much of an issue? I would assume it wasn't. And mind you, I'm not saying what Luis Hill did today is an issue. Of course not. But the control, when you watch him pitch, it's 4 walks, 5 walks, 4 walks, 5 walks, right? It's without question. If we had a postseason game tomorrow, you very well could have Luis Hill dominate the game. And we now are the last 2 starts he's had, we had people last start say, I'd like him to start game 3 over Schlittler. That's how well he pitched. Then he showed up to Boston. This is a clutch outing. Clutch.
Very clutch.
Control still really wasn't there. You had 2 wild pitches, and really you gave Wells no chance back there behind the plate of getting to those pitches, but it didn't matter because it shows you the stuff. I guess my question, Jake, is will Luis Heel, they call it effectively wild, is that just what he is? Or is this something that Matt Blake is responsible to fix long term? Because when we go into 2026, you can't have Luis Heel walk 200 guys, right? That's just not a sustainable way to pitch in this league and stay in games. What do you think about that? Do you think that this is something that the Yankees will just accept, or do you think they'll tweak it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to accept what Luis Hill is, at least for this year, and he's still getting things going. He's still coming back from an injury. He didn't have the rev-up process. This is his rev-up. So,
yes, it is.
Yeah, and I noticed the comment section was saying that we were getting on Luis Hill the other night. I don't really feel like we were getting on him. We were just saying, hey, this guy's probably better than Luis Hill.
Oh, there was a single person who had that takeaway?
Yeah.
Well, Jake, you can tell people that the sky is blue, and they'll say, well, you just told me it was green. Well, what am I supposed to tell you? We literally said in that show, it more had to do with Cam Schlittler and his command, right? The way he was developed. But one thing we're not going to do on this podcast is ignore what someone's going to do in a positive way. Luis Hill was objectively, he was the reason the Yankees won today. Complete command. And when you go on the road and you're playing a contender, a team that is a contender with you in your division, the most important thing is what's your starting pitcher doing that day? What's Max Fried doing tomorrow? Right? What's Will Warren, who's struggled all year on the road, And that's part of the reason why earlier you said, yeah, I don't really love our chances. It's because of the starting pitching. It's the most important thing you'll have going for you in these games. Yeah. So having said that, Luis Gil showed up today, said, yeah, I may not have control, but they can't touch me. And if you get in scoring position, you will not score. And that's been his calling card. So again, a part of our worry was in the postseason, 2-out walks are a no-no, leadoff walks, huge no-no. And these are just old school rules of the game. But we've also seen pitchers, like a Blake Snell, for example, pitch with Tampa prior to being a Dodger and all that, and San Diego, is they will walk a guy. And they've had success in October. So I'm curious to see if Luis Gil can just pitch around being a wild arm in important games. So far, so good.
Yeah, no, and that's really the thing, is that you just want to see him getting better and better and better, right? And I think that's what, that's what he's doing. And look, he, again, last year he dealt with injury. He's dealt with injury his whole career, really. And we're going to take whatever we can get from him. And I think this is really good stuff. This was huge. I had an issue taking him out. He had 93 pitches. You didn't need to take him out of a no-hitter with 93 pitches. I'm sorry. You just didn't.
Yeah, I didn't care about the no-hitter per se, just because being at that pitch count, he's obviously not going to go Edwin Jackson at the 140, so the no-hitter's not really a factor.
No, but
what is a factor is he hasn't given up a hit. So would I rather see Gil in the way that he's throwing, or would I rather see Cruz? With all due respect, I really like Cruz. He's actually he's in my top 3 of our bullpen. Well, would I rather see Gil the way he was throwing today? I mean, same conversation we had earlier this week. So you just have to make the conversation of, would I rather see this guy or the first guy out the pen? To your point, Jake, I think we'd rather see Luis Gil on 93 pitches with no hits.
Yeah, I get that. I just think, with the way the bullpen's been pitching lately, for me, I wouldn't have taken out a guy who hasn't given up a hit. And honestly, this is blown up in Boone's face every time. They even blew up tonight. I mean, it didn't kill them, but immediately Fernando Cruz ends up giving up a home run that inning. So
you text me, actually, because I think I told you I absolutely hate this bullpen. I text you before they even gave up that run, and you were like, I know, man, this is just terrible. And then the ball was midair for the homer. So it's like, we're not going to complain about it. Obviously, everything worked out. It went the way that we had hoped, but it's just funny the way that we obviously choose to do our business. And there's nothing we can do about it. I guess that's the good and the bad news, is that we just sit here in hindsight and say, well, if it works, by all means, do things the way you want to do it. But that's our concern, is we just want a consistent way to go about our bullpen, and we don't have the best bullpen. I mean, let's be honest. It's not a great group. I know you guys made a lot of trades, but making a lot of trades doesn't mean you have players to be relied on. David Bednar, on the other hand, was lights out tonight. Lights out. And that's what we need, especially in this series. He's more than likely, he's going to have to pitch tomorrow. More than likely.
Yeah. They're going to need, they might need Bednar for all 3, depending on how these games go.
I would agree with you.
And
Sunday is at best going to be low scoring. At best.
Aaron Judge said it best. I mean, these are playoff games. This is a playoff game. That's what it felt like. It felt like a playoff game. It really did. And I think the reason why maybe some people didn't feel that way is because Judge kind of took the air out of the stadium for a sec, but it came back. I mean, I know they didn't hit, but it still came back. It was a playoff game today.
Yep.
They controlled it, but
Well, it's not going to feel like a playoff game when if a team shows up to Yankee Stadium and hits a 2-run homer in the first inning, the energy gets sucked out of the building. Like, it could be a disadvantage playing at home as well. Like, sometimes when you go to a team, it doesn't matter what sport, and your team gets punched in the mouth at home, everyone in the stands is like, we were hyped up before first pitch or before kickoff, and they score 10 points in the first 3 minutes of the game, or 10 minutes of the game. Well, yeah, it does suck the energy out of the building. So give credit to Aaron Judge, because if he doesn't hit that home run, there's probably energy the whole day, and it's probably a different feeling. So want to give credit to 99, because anytime he does something, no one really says a whole lot. But when he doesn't, it is a topic of conversation. I think he deserves both. He deserves his day in the sun when he does something, Apex with the 2. Appreciate it, Apex. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Says Ghost of Roman Anthony haunted Boston. This is something I brought up to you, Jake, and this is a real thing. Obviously, we already know Roman Anthony is their best player. We know this. They know this. He's young. Doesn't matter. He's putting up monster numbers. Ever since he got there, they started winning right away.
Yeah.
Now, when you lose a player like this, you're losing, of course, the X's and O's, right? The hitter, the guy who's slotted third in their lineup. But also, you're losing energy. You lose, right? If the 49ers lose Christian McCaffrey for 3 weeks, it takes the air out of the building. It does. And I understand that from a logical standpoint, maybe you've got some talent to plug and play. But when you lose, I mean, even if the Yankees lost an Aaron Judge and you're like, oh, well, we've got Jason Dominguez who can fill in a little bit. It's not the same team anymore. The feel is completely off. Boston, at least I could tell, it seemed like they didn't have their mojo. And that could really work to our advantage. I would never root for anyone's injury, but it's certainly a factor in this series.
No, it's definitely a factor. Roman Anthony is huge for this team. I mean, and think about this. It's not just Roman Anthony being huge. It's the fact that Duran is having a down year, right? Duran isn't the same Duran, and that is hurting them. And Bregman, while he does some things against the Yankees, he hasn't been Bregman earlier in the year, right? So there's that. And, I mean, that's the thing is, like, Narvaez isn't as hot as he was at the beginning of the year. These guys, they need a guy like a Roman Anthony in the lineup, and they're suffering.
Yoshida DH today for Boston. He's hitting 229, his ops. And I know we don't really give too much of a turd about ops, but when your designated hitter has an ops of 6, I want to make sure I have this accurate, 610, it's not getting it done. It's not. I understand those numbers aren't crazy long term, but it goes to show you where they are as far as their options. Now, there's no excuses. All teams have injuries. The New York Yankees have no Garrett Cole. They have no Clark Schmidt, right? Injuries happen in this sport, whether we want them or not. And you have to deal with it. And that's similar to what Alex Cora had to say when the injury happened. No one's going to feel sorry for us, and he's absolutely right. I don't feel sorry for them. I just want him to get healthy for his own sake and his own career. But right now, we should smell blood in the water due to their circumstances. You go out and hunt right now.
Yeah. No, of course. And then Boone said no Volpe for Boston series. Good. Yeah, Apex, we appreciate you. I'm just kind of tired of the Volpe saga. Like, I'm ready for them to just put him on. It's very reminiscent to DJ LeMahieu. They kept trying to make DJ LeMahieu a thing last year, and then we're just like, can you just put him on IR or IL and just call it? Let's just call it a year, right?
It was a concerted, it was absolutely a deliberate effort at that point. Like, they DJ LeMahieu, they're like, well, I don't know if you know, but he's on rehab assignment. We're like, what does that mean? They said, well, he's going to get at bats. Okay, where at? Oh, at second base, because physically he can't play third. And it's like, we're just jumping through hoops. We have to move Jazz to third base. Then we figure out Jazz can't do that. So now DJ, you can't play. We're doing too much here. And I just think Anthony Volpe, it's not a net positive defensively. That's the most important thing. First and foremost, Jake, the glove. You're playing shortstop for the Yankees for a team that cannot afford to make mistakes. He was making mistakes. He leads the league in mistakes. And then offensively, obviously, we already know what it is. We don't have to rehash what Volpe's done this season. It's not good. But we want Volpe to be healthy and have a long career. But in this series, the choice is Caballero. You saw how dynamic he is. Is he Ricky Henderson? No. But there's a new angle and a new plan of attack, a new flavor that the Yankees have in their lineup that you have to at least consider. When he gets on base, they're like, oh, there's a Yankee who's trying to play it a different way than the other 8. Then you add another player and you're like, oh, Jazz Chisholm he attempted to steal 3 bases. 2 of them were successful and it was game changing. Now the Yankees start to have different ways of attack and they're just a better team. So yeah, I just think Apex, the best decision was for Volpe to play, to not play a lick, whether he was healthy or not. And then due to injury, we're getting that choice now.
Yeah. No, I that's exactly it. I mean, Caballero, it's so funny. I feel like Joel Sherman knew something. When he came out and said Caballero's going to start in the postseason, that was his prediction.
Yes.
He must have known something.
How many hours before the injury news was that? I mean, was it maybe 30 hours later?
Yeah, it wasn't long after, and then all of a sudden, I would probably say the injury news came a day or two after Sherman said that.
Which I'm just for the sake of professionalism, you and I both will say, oh, it's just pure coincidence. What a coincidence that was. Caballero will be your shortstop. Less than 24 hours later, Anthony Volpe has a partially torn labrum. He's down. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting news. So, yeah, I would assume, at the same time, you can say the Yankees.
Sherman. We're not calling him out or anything. It's just more
No, of course not. No,
just telling you,
if anything, it means
is.
he's plugged. It means he's plugged in. But the Yankees also deliberately didn't tell us this news. So perhaps a couple of reporters who are very plugged in, and again, we have no idea if that's true or not, but it's amazing. It's an amazing coincidence. So I'm going to assume it's just a total coincidence, but it's wild nonetheless. And Jose G Insight with a 2, thank you, says Mac's legacy game is coming tomorrow in Boston. Let's go, Yankees. So I would agree. We can't say it's a legacy game every time because the last 3 starts he's had, the dude's been money. I actually think it might be 4, Jake. Max Fried has been him for a few weeks now. He's been awesome for the Yankees. I know we had the conversation about the blister. I thought it was totally fair. Jake, I thought your coverage on it was money. You did a solo show on it. You were talking about, hey, we should just get out front of this, get him off the field, make sure the spin rate is back. We're not talking about X's and O's of how many runs did you give up and overreacting to results. But the spin rate, velocity, all of those numbers to check out to the median, and they weren't, right? You covered it. Michael K covered it. And obviously, by the time I showed up, Max Fried was right back out there, and the Yankees said, no, he's going to pitch right through it. We've said each of the past 4 starts, this is the biggest start he's had as a Yankee. He's delivered off all 4 times. That includes against Boston. That includes the Houston. So you have to look at this series. Is it a big game? Absolutely. Aces have to come through in moments like this, but I guess it's just a shame, Jake, that every start for our ace, the past 4 or 5 starts, is called the biggest start of his career. It kind of goes to show you the times.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. And it's, Max Fried is going to have another biggest start of his career because he is pitching in the Bronx. Yeah. Like, it's different now, right? And obviously we know what he did with the Braves, but he was never particularly great on the Braves in the postseason. So there's going to be more, because of that, Gary, there's going to be more prove-it moments. Like, you're going to have to step up. And I think Max is going to step up tomorrow. I mean, Bello's probably going to step up too. He gives the Yankees fits. I feel like nobody can hit Bello at all. But I trust Max Fried tomorrow. I do.
Yeah, and Fried wasn't electric in his last start. He really got off to a slow start, a labored start, stayed in the game much longer than we ever anticipated. He did what an ace should do. It was actually very much like a CC Sabathia type start. Give up 4 runs in the first inning, and you're like, what the hell is this, C? And then next thing you know, shut down second inning, shut down third, fourth, fifth, sixth inning. You're like, holy crap, CC's out there in the 7th inning, and he's given up 4. Is it a great start? Well, not really, because he gave up the 4 early, but he stayed on the field, and then that day, Jake, the Yankees offense went to town. So it ended up being just enough. It was exactly what the Yankees needed. That's not going to be good enough tomorrow with Bello on the other side. We don't hit him. We hit Giolito, and we thought this was the game to win. You're going to have to be next to perfect, and I think Fried knows that coming into this game. This is probably going to be the best test that Fried's had to show you what he'll be in October. So I'm looking forward to this challenge for him. We have no idea how it's going to go. We know how he pitches at the stadium, and he's a ground ball guy, so the infield defense better be ready.
Yeah, they had better be ready. I think the good news is today, Giolito, we went through it. Hardly anybody hits Giolito well. Like, I think the best that hit him was Rosario, and he didn't even play.
Yeah, that which
So-
makes sense, by the way. Now that you kind of look at it in hindsight,
Yeah.
Rosario absolutely should have a role, because this is the thing about role players. Role players should play. They should have roles. The issue is, do you want your role players to be stepping in must-win games? Probably not. Maybe with a small role, but for a start, probably not. These are seen as postseason games. The lineups that you guys are seeing built out, these are playoff games for the Yankees. It's the same thing for Boston. We've got to put the best line out there to give us a chance. And some of those role players, maybe in May, Rosario would have started this game. Not in mid-September. We saw those numbers, we read them, we covered them, and we wanted you guys to be prepared with those numbers because maybe it would have an impact on the lineup. But I think that was actually the right choice from Aaron Boone not to go that direction, because in the end, do you really want Rosario out there, or do you want to see the 9 that we saw today? And honestly, I was pretty happy with it. It didn't bother me.
Yeah, no, I had no issue with it. Funny enough, big reason why I had no issue with it was Volpe was out of the lineup. He's actually hitting .353 against Bello, .941 OPS.
Volpe was?
Yeah,
And how many at-bats?
17.
It's a pretty good sample size. Interesting.
Yeah, Aaron
Only guy
Judge
that
is
hits
2
him.
for 20.
Okay.
No home run either. Hitting 100 with a 150 slugging, 400 OPS. All right, so here's who you can expect if history repeats itself, okay? And we're talking only 8-7 at-bats, right? 375, a 1,500 OPS, Cody Bellinger. 571, well, no, it's just 1,100 OPS. It looked like 1,900. What the hell? Jose Caballero.
Okay.
And Trent Grisham, who I mentioned has been slumping. I feel like Trent's due. 429 and a 1,200 OPS. Trent's going yard tomorrow.
Yeah, players, because, I played club baseball in college and all that, and you'd come into the clubhouse and guys would be like, hey, a reporter would say, hey, man, do you think you're due? Players hate that. When you tell them they're due, because players don't believe in that at all. So it's really just funny. Technically speaking, what really matters is how you see the ball out of a certain pitcher's hand. That's like the most important thing about hitting, really. Because there's sometimes you'll go see somebody, Aaron Judge, for example, and I think was it Kikuchi? He just could not see him at all. Kabuti. Could not see him. Is he one of the better pitchers in the league? No, not even flirting with it. Not even in the conversation. But something about his release, certain hitters just don't pick it up, and probably the game's best hitter doesn't pick him up. So I think these numbers are interesting. Obviously, it's unfortunate that I shouldn't say, Volpe would love to be out there taking at bats against someone he sees the ball well off of, especially given the way he's playing. But even if he was healthy, I still don't think it would be the correct choice. I don't.
No.
I just think the glove's an issue. If the glove was fine but the bat was terrible, I think it would be the right choice to go with Volpe because he maybe has success against this particular pitcher. But, Jake, there's just too many dimensions that Caballero brings to the table. He's not winning any MVPs. Speed, contact, just playing the game the right way. Caballero is the right choice for the Yankees, and thankfully, now that we're in this must-win series, we put in a shortstop that even when he makes mistakes, he finds other ways to make impact where you're like, he wasn't a net negative today. We'll take that.
Yeah. Bello has seen the Yankees. Well, the Yankees have seen Bello twice this year. They're 0-2 against him. Which
Itchy Nuts, love the name, says tomorrow, third time seeing, Bello this season, can't adjust to him now. You never will. I would agree with this because this was the exact same narrative that everyone wanted to mention, that the Toronto Blue Jays saw Cam Schlittler. Now, eventually Cam Schlittler did come out and say he thought he was tipping pitches, but a lot of people in our audience, and they want to talk the details, which I love, but they mention, them seeing Schlittler is not going to help a young player. Just not. It's not in his favor. And they were right. But in this situation, I agree with Itchy. If you can't go out there and find a way to make an adjustment in a must-win series, you have to win game 2. By start number 3 that you've seen him this year, you're probably if you see him in October, you might as well just shut it down. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, he has 14 straight scoreless innings.
Wow.
Now, it is worth mentioning in 2024, he had a blow-up outing, ended up giving up 8 earned runs in 15 innings. So, does history repeat itself?
Was that in Boston, by the way?
I'm pretty sure it was. I almost remember the game.
That. Yep, I remember that game.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be like, never mind, it's a pain in the ass. Yeah, no, I remember the game as well, almost like it was yesterday. And
yep.
Yeah, he's susceptible to giving up the big inning. But I think it's really the start. Like, if he gets through the first inning, like, he's not going to get blown up. But, yeah. No, it is something to keep in mind.
Souped up. He's like a souped up Will Warren. Much better Will Warren. Because Will Warren's a good pitcher. If you let
Will
him,
Warren, yes.
He's premium. Like, this is...
I mean, we're talking about a guy who, against the Yankees, has a 1.95 ERA in 10 games started.
With those numbers?
With the blow-up outing.
Yeah, with the blow-up. Without the blow-up, he's basically...
Sandy Koufax.
He's Dwight Gooden.
Jose
that's why you play the game.
Reminds me of Bad Bunny's cousin from Happy Gilmore 2. He's shifty. I saw the movie and I think I get what he was on the other team. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Never saw Happy Gilmore 2.
It's good.
Oh, by the way, I see the spelling in the super chat. You were mentioning that spelling in the super chat is next to impossible. That
it's
it just
awful.
does a horrible job.
Awful.
Yeah, so Jimmy, we apologize for obviously YouTube not just doing you in.
You could have the brand new iPhone 17 that hasn't even come out yet. I'm sure it's faster than the speed of light, and it would still have you going like.
I actually want the new iPhone. Do you know I have, and I know everybody's always in a competition to tell you how much they don't care about. They're like, I'm hanging on to my phone. There's nothing new. It's like, well, yeah, it's a phone. Do you think it's going to massage you?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're faster. You're really paying for a much better camera if you take a lot of photos of your family.
This is the one to buy.
I've got an iPhone 12.
Oh, yeah. I have a 14
I'm way
plus.
Yeah, but I guess the 13's much better, but...
Here's the thing, though.
I don't know.
The iPhone, not to go crazy on this, but I believe this is the last one of the yearly updates. So they will not be releasing another iPhone next year. They're stopping doing it every year.
Okay. That tells me they're probably going to a foldable phone, which is fine. And do I want a foldable phone? Probably not. I'm not going to show up to Yankee Stadium and be like, hey, man, yeah, let's get in contact. Let me fold out my magazine here for you. It's stupid. So, and Marion, I really appreciate you loving the idea.
He wants a Hasselblad phone.
Yeah. Thank you. Zachary Moss with the super. Thank you for the 2. Says home run probability type night. Yeah. What did everyone think, by the way? I don't want to just like spew my opinions on you just because it's our podcast here, Jake. What did everyone think about all the graphics? Because they certainly were
PowerPoint
saturated with interviews. It actually reminded me a lot of like a senior year project where you're supposed to throw together a big collage of like pictures, and there was so much going on the broadcast. And this is kind of, Jake, what I was telling you about how I love minimalistic footage.
Yes.
Like I love to watch the game, and
I
guess the good part of it
tonight.
I love the score bug.
They changed the Red Sox logo and the colors to match their uniforms. I like that, like subtle touch, but I think it goes a long way.
That's more of a simplistic touch. That is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. It was more so the interviews, I would say, is the problem. I don't dig the interviews in games. I don't know how other people think about it because I understand that
I don't care at all. No, I don't care at all.
Let the kids play, right? Let's do all that. But do I want to see somebody with a microphone standing at shortstop and they're like, oh, well, then the ground ball's hit to Brandon Crawford, and I love how I just always go to his name. But he's talking to us. He's like, hold on a second, I got to make a play. I'm like, aren't these teams just livid with this?
Well, dude, the funniest one ever is when she goes up to Boone, and I'm not blaming her, right? I'm not blaming her for the interview. She's doing her job.
Yes.
But she goes up to Boone right after he tried to challenge, and they like wouldn't let him. And she's like, "Why didn't they let you challenge?" And he's like, "I guess we were late." Like, you know what I mean? It was like
we had a time machine and we were just like standing in a spot we were not supposed to be standing in. We're not supposed to be able to talk to Aaron Boone during the game.
It was weird.
Wartime. I guess it would have been kind of like if we could have sat there and put a mic in Michael Jordan's face in 1996, wouldn't it have taken away from the mystique of the game? That's just my take on it. Hey, MJ, what were you thinking right there? Oh, man, well, they just got the best of me right there, double team, whatever. There's too much engagement. There was too much going on. I like
it
baseball.
Makes them
That's
too
not baseball.
available.
Too available, man.
I mean, it's almost like you can't create any sort of like these guys are the larger than life guys. When you make them that readily available, it's just weird. I don't know.
I'd say no to every single one of those interviews. Like I'd be Corbin Carroll. I don't know if you knew that.
I did
Corbin
not.
Carroll of the D-backs was like, "Hey, would you love to do an interview?" He's like, "No." Nope. He'll do an interview post game because he's not doing his job. But when you're
during the game,
he won't do it.
Oh, dude, anybody that says that should be applauded because they need to end that. That's ridiculous. I'll never forget what was it? Well, apparently I will forget. Was it Lindor? No, who was the shortstop? No, it was Rafaela has a freaking mic and he's talking and like they're playing the Yankees and they hit, there's a grounder and he's he goes, he gets throws him out. It's like
zero mystique there. Zero.
Yeah, like
if Derek Jeter was mic'd up during the 2004 postseason run, I promise you guys, all the feelings of the series would be completely dissipated. They would.
Imagine if you heard Derek Jeter when he crashed into the stands. How like that ruins everything.
Yeah, just having more access to these players, it changes the way you feel about them. You know more about what they think. You realize, here's what you realize, Jake. You realize they're more like you and I than you ever anticipated.
That's
because in the end, if you walk in the room with Tom Brady's supposed to be a dude that like you larger than life. You can't touch him. He's not even a real person.
That's
You'll
what I was
never really
getting at,
see him in real. And then now all of a sudden, they throw a mic on Tom in the third quarter, and he's sitting on the bench. It's like, what's so special about this guy?
Especially if he pulls up, he like has some popcorn. He's just me on the couch. Like there's literally nothing between us. No,
right. So Izzy, thank you.
Funny.
Yeah, less is more. If you're an athlete, you should say no to all this stuff. Don't have a Twitter. Don't have an Instagram. Don't have anything. I know you can make money doing sponsorships. You made $40 million last year. You don't need sponsorship money. So
yeah,
that would be my take on it.
Oh,
but Jake,
the
Boston
announcers, real quick.
Oh, what about them? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think they're bad, and I like Dontrell Willis. Here's the deal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The end of it, there's no emotion. They're having like the most casual conversation, and I'm like, the Yankees are about to win a playoff atmosphere game, which you told us on the broadcast. This is like a playoff atmosphere. Yeah, you guys are really doing a great job of making me feel the moment. So I just feel like Michael Kay, obviously, he covers the Yankees, but regardless, let's just say he didn't cover the Yankees, and he was just like one of those, well, a good example. Joe Davis would have showed some emotion, and he strikes him out. Like Bednar, right? The Yankees win 4-1, their first win of the year in Boston. It's like, oh, and that's going to do it. Boston could not hit today. The Yankees win 4-1 in Boston. Do you see the difference? There's like no emotion, and I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to complain. I don't want to be a pain in the ass. But I'm like, if we're getting this instead of, Michael Kay, instead of hearing Paul O'Neill or a David Cohn or Joe Girardi, then I expect this to be like Joe Davis, right?
I should be able to close my eyes and tell what is the situation. Based on your temperament, what just happened right there? What would be your guess? And I can tell you right now, I think a name you actually spit it out yesterday was Matt Vasgersian. Now, I'm not clamoring for Matt Vasgersian, and it would be fine with it. But if Matt Vasgersian saw the Yankees acquire the last out in this series, you'd know it. I guarantee it. You
100%.
would have an understanding of, oh, why was he so hyped up? Oh, it's the Yankees just, right? You would almost you'd want to know what just occurred based on the tone. You don't even have to know the language, and you would know it was important. That should come across on TV. You're a color analyst. You need to bring energy. That's quite literally your job, to sell the product on the screen and be unbiased. And so, yeah, love Dontrelle Willis and his coverage, but I just don't know about the play-by-play. It wasn't enthusiastic enough. And it wasn't just him. The whole crew, we needed more enthusiasm because this game was humongous for the Yankees.
Huge. This might be the most important win of the year.
Yep. If we lost that game, we definitely more than likely lose Sunday. So you're saying, well, Boston series is cooked. Now we're just praying that we just go sweep Chicago and then what? Boston goes and beats down Toronto. Well, now Boston outruns us. This win was huge.
A wild
now
Marion
it gives us the right
appeared.
to just root for Boston. Right. Right.
D-Train.
D-Train. Love that nickname, by the way. I honestly can't believe that D-Train is calling games because I used to love watching him on TV when I was young.
The coolest motion ever.
I mean, they would never teach that now.
No.
Jersey Flow with the 5. Thank you, Jersey. We really appreciate that. Gotta love his page is just breaking news. So the breaking news is we got a super chat here. Says, if Jazz didn't miss that month, I think we could be talking about a possible 40-40 season. With that being said, do you think the Yankees pay him? So I'm going to completely disagree about the 40-40 season completely. I thought the turnaround was the time off. Jake, you introduced it. I agreed completely. Jazz Chisholm was simply a boomer bust player. The speed game was nowhere to be found. He was not trying to steal bases. Honestly, speed was just forgotten in his mind. Simply the power game. He basically was trying to play like Trent Grisham, which is fine if you're Trent Grisham. But when you're as talented as Jazz Chisholm, you've got to bring it all to the table. You're too talented, and that's why we've put so much expectation on you. Now, Jake, he asked the question, do you think the Yankees pay him? So the Yankees technically, Jazz is under contract next year, and then I believe he's a free agent after that. Now, with that being said, the Yankees are not going to extend Jazz Chisholm until they absolutely have to. They're not going to extend him early. He's too much of a wild card player. He just is. He loses concentration often. If you look at the fans' temperament and the coverage on him, a lot of it is we can't accept that. Very Gleyber Torres-esque. Very Gleyber Torres. Dumb mistakes, but man, when he's good, he's great. You've got to prove to us you can be consistent because this player is going to cost you probably over $100 million. Jazz Chisholm's going to have to show when it gets important, when it gets cold out, you start seeing people's breath, you better come ready to play and play smart baseball. If you can do that, we have no problem paying you. But Jersey, anytime before that, the Yankees are like, we're not going to pull an Aaron Hicks again. We're not. You're going to prove to us you can perform under the bright lights, and then when you do, we'll pull out our wallets.
Yeah, and to be fair, like you texted me and you're like, I feel like Jazz is trying to go 30 for 30. Like it's so obvious. And yeah, I agree. You see it, the swing. I mean, he looked good today, right? He had 2. I had no issue with his approach at the plate. But you said it. You know I was thinking it. You can't make the first out at third. What good does that do? It just wipes away a stolen base. Now, all that stolen base was for your stats. I mean, that's all it was, right?
It literally was an attempt at a stat. Now, technically, no reporter's going to call him out for it, and no one's really going to. They're just going to say you made a dumb play. But in reality, who said that?
When the woman that was interviewing Judge, it's like, oh yeah, Jazz is really, he was all over it today. And it's like, well, yeah, he stole 2 bases, but he also got thrown out. So none of those bases mattered.
Credit. And he definitely deserved that credit. So I'm glad she took it in a positive direction.
Yeah,
but all I'm telling you, no one's going to question that attempt to go to third base. Why? You just had a knock. The hit was beautiful. We watched it. You're at first base. We've been asking you to do that all year. Do less. Give us the 70%. He said, all right, here it is. I'm going to steal second base. We're like, this is what I'm talking about. And then now he's showing you, oh, I'm going to also take off to third base. Well, that's nonsensical. Why are you going to third base? Well, it's because it's about your individual numbers. That's why. It's the only reason you tried to steal third base. Because Jazz Chisholm, there's no way in the world you can tell me that I know And Jake knows. And every other person in our comment section already knows rule number 1 is that you never make the first out at third base. Never. And you're just taking off. Jazz doesn't know that information. I doubt it. So why are you taking off? The broadcast, Jake, said, oh, he probably thought that he had second base so easily that why wouldn't he have it standing up? That's just not even a thought. That makes no sense.
Speaking of base running, Jason Dominguez not jumping over the ball. What are we doing? That's like, you see that all the time. We've made jokes about it. Stanton jumping over a ball. You're like, no, hold on. I'd rather just the ball hit you because we don't want you moving, But you see it all the time. Guys are always good about jumping over the ball. That was not even like, come on, J-Dom. For real?
That wasn't tough at all. That wasn't difficult. It was like watching in the NFL where a guy receiving a punt, and all of a sudden he touches the football, and then it's the other team's ball.
And he just
what the hell are you doing? Yeah, get out of the way. And now it happens much less in the NFL. You rarely ever see it now. But in I don't know, when everyone was trying to be Devin Hester back in 2014, 2015.
Oh my God.
Well, you saw a lot of kick returners touching the football. It was very similar to that play. Get out of the way. There's no reason that you should ever get hit by a baseball.
You remember that?
Yeah.
The 49ers were going to the Super Bowl, and then they took a football to the knee.
Right. There's just no reason to do it. There was no reason to get hit by that baseball. That's why you look in. He knew it was on its way and then still somehow gets clipped by the ball. You're too young, too athletic not to be able to get out the way. If it was a Stanton 120-mile-an-hour liner and he just got smoked in the kneecap, I think I would let it go. Wouldn't bother me a lick, probably. He took the brunt of it. But come on. I think it was a Ryan McMahon grounder. Okay, come on.
No,
dude.
It was Jazz, because Jazz didn't even run.
It was Jazz,
he was freaking out. I'm like, go.
Just took away a hit. So it's a shame.
Yeah, I guess they give you first. So if you hit your runner,
yes,
you get an automatic free pass to first base, and the runner's out.
Yeah, it's just a fielder's choice. You're just cooked.
Yeah. Although, no, it counted as a hit.
They gave him a hit?
Yeah, it counts as
so
a
they
hit.
just make the assumption that that would have been it. Okay, I like that rule.
I do too, because that's ridiculous. What? That's Jason's fault. That was going in the outfield. Look, you can get on Jazz all you want, but that was, that was good hitting, But dog, Jason Dominguez, it's bad when your trail foot get the freaking. He almost got away with it too. It's just I saw that and I knew immediately when they called him out. I'm like, oh God. And then slow motion, it just looks so bad because you're like, dude, he's so athletic. He could have easily just hopped and he's good.
Let me ask you this about athleticism, and I won't even pick on Jason Dominguez. We won't even make him the conversation.
Yeah.
But if a player has a 50-inch vertical, they can throw a hard object 100 miles an hour. And let's just say they can do that, right? They're 6'10". Are they a good athlete if they can't apply any of those skills to be good at any sport?
They can still be a good athlete, right? But
measurable.
Yes. But what you're talking about is why Tom Brady is considered the GOAT by many. Because it's what you do with the tools. It's not necessarily what you... So, because I hate to bring him up because I feel bad doing it every time I do it, but it's such a good...
Who?
Obi Melifonwu, do you remember him?
No, I don't at all.
He's like a 6'4" safety coming out of UConn. Everyone was like, Obi Melifonwu was going to take the league by storm. He was insane. 4'3", measurables were insane. The hand size, all of it. He couldn't play. He could not play in the NFL. It did not work out. It's again, I feel bad because I always use him as an example, and dude's somewhere just trying to sleep right now.
Well, you can use Jamarcus Russell as an example.
That's a great example.
Pure laziness. He doesn't want to watch any film. He doesn't apply any of his physical God-given abilities. How good of an athlete are you? If you can run like a bat out of hell, you run like the wind. You've got a cannon. You can throw the ball 80 yards. If you don't know where it's going, you're not fast in the game, Jake. You call it game speed. Well, how good of an athlete are you? You need to be smart. You need to be able to apply these tools. And
of course,
I'm looking forward to it. He's a young player. I don't know what his role is going to be. I know what it is now. But as we go into 2026, as I said yesterday, I do think the Yankees are more than likely to let Trent Grisham go, just given the young talent that the team has in Dominguez and Jones. And Jason Dominguez is going to have to show he can play much smarter baseball and apply these physical gifts that he clearly has. You can't run like the wind, and you're getting hit by 84-mile-an-hour ground balls. Can't happen. You're too athletic for that. I don't care if you're 20 years old or you're 40. That's a stupid play. If my son, who would be 12 on his club baseball team, did that, it'd be dumb then.
It's
but
dumber
to do it
than
in
you
a
think.
Playoff, yeah, it is dumber than you think. A club baseball player shouldn't do it, let alone a big leaguer who's making money to do this. It's crazy.
It's even worse, Gary, because I don't know if you fully contextualize this. He was running for Stanton. He was a pinch runner.
He was a...
Literally, like, that means all on his
No
mind.
way.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. He was literally a pinch runner.
I don't know how I missed this. Obviously, I see the box score, and you see that he was a pinch runner. That's just funny. And mind you, we do have some Jason Dominguez truthers in the comment section.
I
We
like
root for
J-Dom.
him.
It's just, what the hell?
Well, I like everyone on the team.
Yeah.
I'd go golfing with everybody. If Anthony Volpe wanted to hit the links tomorrow, I'd go. But my fondness for you doesn't mean a rip when it comes to you being a pinch runner and you get hit by a baseball. I mean, that's just crazy. Crazy
that's
work.
just comedy hour. And especially because they won, now I can just cackle. But if they lost because of that, oh my God.
Oh, my God.
Trapdoor,
Well,
like, just gone.
Yeah, and Teabag with the 2. Thank you for the 2. Really appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
And Teabag also with another 2 said, did Boone get Rosario just to be a hype man? I did answer this somewhat at the beginning of the show. Just because you have an asset on the bench doesn't mean you have to use them. We're not talking about the totality of the regular season, Jake, but when you're talking about a must-win series, you're still talking about Rosario here. I think the Yankees just went with their best 9. They want to have bats out there. They just did. And this is what the lineup turned out to be. So you can clearly,
He'll play Sunday.
T. Yeah, I would agree with that. Because you're overmatched offensively, especially against a lefty, that is an overmatching. Rosario should play. McMahon should not. If McMahon sees the field on Sunday, they are out their minds.
They're not serious if McMahon's on the field Sunday. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the defense. They might actually, I could see that. They might decide a game that close. You know, we were just talking about it. Could probably be a 1-0, 2-1 type of game. Maybe they feel like the defense is enough. Where they're like,
what do you think the right choice is? Because technically, McMahon let's just say if you already yield that the game has to be 3-2 Yankees if you're going to win the game, well, maybe putting in Rosario's bat. I'm going to guess you're going to go with McMahon.
No, I'm going to go with Rosario. But
okay.
This is why it'll surprise you.
Yeah.
Defense in Fenway Park at third base isn't as big of a deal. It's just not. It's like the dimensions and everything, left field playing shallow, it's just not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all. But at Yankee Stadium, where you have the dimensions, it can get a little freaky out in left field. Obviously, just ask Jason Dominguez. Then I'm scared of Rosario's defense at third base. But
there's cons to everyone. There's cons to literally every player you could put over there. That's the beauty in going to get superstars. They're good on both sides. Ryan McMahon can't really hit. He's not going to be consistent. And when you put him up there against
do you like his bunt?
I love the bunt.
That was fantastic.
It was a great bunt. But lefty on lefty against Crochet, it's a bad matchup. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the situation. That's the hand he's going to be dealt. But if he plays, you just know, okay, well, he's not going to get a 4th at bat. It's probably looking like 3 at bats for the day. Runs are going to be few and far in between. It's probably an 0 for 3 with 3K type day. And you're just praying that he makes the difference with his glove. Or you can go with Rosario, not the perfect choice. Rosario goes out there, plays third base. To your point, Jake, yeah, guys hugging the line at Fenway. They're probably trying to hold balls down the line to singles. You can play the ball off the wall. Not as important to have great defense at third base in Fenway. Still important, but Rosario's bringing his glove with him to third base. That's going to matter. So, and guys, I did see in the comments, I am reading the live chat, someone mentioned that maybe we can stick Rosario at second base, but guys, you have to remember, Jazz Chisholm, they said physically they don't like him at third base. That's a physical thing. They're not going to risk Jazz's health in September just for the sake of getting Rosario in the game over Ryan McMahon. If he's going to be in this game, Rosario's at third base, and that is quite the gamble defensively. So I almost would give you that my choice is just yield the bat. I'm getting the glove from Ryan McMahon on that day.
I like it. So then we have Jersey Flow back at it. How bad of a lockout do you think we will get once the CBA expires? What network do you think picks up MLB once they finish with ESPN? Great questions.
Love this.
I don't think the lockout's going to be that bad. I think it'll be like 3 months. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. They'll abbreviate the season. It'll probably be like 102 games, something like that, right?
Yep.
But I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. As far as the network, see, I kind of just think that ESPN is just going to get it. I mean, Gary, what do you think? Could you see a scenario where YouTube TV gets a MLB package?
Well, I believe YouTube TV lost MLB Network.
I think recently. They also lost Yes, but that was in 2020.
Right. So that was recent. So you have to imagine if YouTube, and I would love it, right? I would love that. It's just more accessible to us. I mean, we're entrenched in the whole YouTube game.
Yeah.
But if you look at it from that standpoint, it's not really a great appetizer to be like, hey guys, we lost MLB Network, which we know a lot of detailed Yankees or just fans and baseball fans in general like to see that network. It gives you a hub to see what's going on around the business. And now all of a sudden your follow-up to that, the dessert, is we've landed all 30 teams. Like, I just think it's a little bit of a reach. I would love it. But do I think it's going to happen?
Oh, ESPN already reached an agreement. Yeah.
Where'd you see this?
August 21st.
Oh, well, nice
MLB,
to see. You get news on NFL everything, and you don't hear any of this in baseball. It's wild.
I know. It really is. MLB, ESPN reportedly reached agreement for network to obtain rights to sell out-of-market games, ability to offer MLB.TV. Sorry, guys. I know nobody was happy to hear that.
Nope. Took the wind right out of my sails. So just to answer how bad do I think the CBA will be, here's what I think the biggest problem with the CBA is going to be. I think the lockout's going to last a few months. We're going to miss some of the season, is my guess. I think the biggest problem for owners, and this is where our snag's going to be, is deferred contracts. No one's been talking about it because the Dodgers really aren't winning right now, and they're still winning enough games, but they're not dominating the way that people anticipated them to dominate. The conversation's no longer on deferred money, right? And obviously you saw they're not the only team that's doing it, right? You've seen Alex Bregman taking $40 million a year. Well, the majority of that's not being paid out until later. So that was part of his contract. And everyone can do this. But it is somewhat of a problem in Major League Baseball that it's almost weighted towards certain teams where, yeah, I'll take a deferred contract with the Dodgers, whereas another team may say, well, we're willing to pay you maybe a little bit less at market value. Teams have no problem going above asking price if I don't have to pay you for another 12 years. So that's going to be a huge problem for the owners. And I can tell you guys right now, the owners, some of them, the small markets, the Pirates, right? You're looking at some of these teams that don't want to spend. Baltimore, they're not liking this. They're not. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I'm obviously rooting for no lockout. Doesn't help our podcast a lick. I don't know what the hell we're going to do. I don't.
We could just go live every day and ask everybody how they're doing.
Right. We'll just make it a therapy session.
Yeah, so, be like, hey guys, it's been 10 days since they locked us out. What are you guys doing? It's just like super chats. I'm on my couch watching Yankees Unloaded. I miss baseball.
We're just going to have to rewatch random games.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I do see, by the way, Jake, I don't know how you feel about this. And And then not sure if
unloaded.
Lockout unloaded. I don't know how you feel about it, but I do see a lot of people talking about Jazz in empty stats, okay? And I didn't just see it 2 clicks up and decided to pick it. No, it's been a consistent thing. I'm going to say one thing about Jazz. Jazz is not a good hitter, just overall, with runners in scoring position.
No,
So,
he's not.
having said that, we should probably pay a lot of attention to that and maybe a little bit less attention to the pursuit of 40-40, 50-50, 30-30 seasons. I understand that that's all flashy and it's good for baseball. It's a conversation, gets kids in the game and wanting to watch a certain player. That's good. But Jake, when you're talking about a player that you've joined an organization, you went from the Miami Marlins, who think other than Marion and maybe 16 other fans, they don't have, you can just go pursue those type of arbitrary achievements. They don't matter here in New York. We want output and we'll be happy about your output, but you need to be a part of the solution when we need it. That's pretty much it. Like if Derek Jeter was Derek Jeter, but then every time he got to October, he just laid an egg throughout 20-year baseball career, you wouldn't remember Derek Jeter at all. He wouldn't be that important. So I just need people to realize that you can go out there and put up numbers, but when Yankees fans really need you to perform and you don't, they're going to remember that before any of the other stats you piled up. And I do think, guys, the Yankees do subscribe to this. Gleyber Torres he has put up numbers with the Yankees, but they're like, yeah, you weren't smart enough for what we were trying to fix. They let him go, whether that was the right decision or not. So I don't know how you feel about this, Jake. Do you feel like Jazz puts up somewhat of empty numbers, or like, are you an in-between? Because I'm in between on Jazz. I think he's important, but he just loses control and loses sight of what the ultimate mission is from time to time, and that still is somewhat of a red flag for me.
I mean, Jazz is very simple of a player to figure out what he is. He is exactly, when you wonder, man, this guy's so talented, but for whatever reason, he's not a superstar. Like, he has so much talent. Why isn't he a superstar? This is why. Like, this is what keeps him in the good territory and not great or elite, you know? And I think he still can be a star, but you know, that's always been my thing. Like, and we see this every year in every single sport. Like, you'll have that one dude who goes off for 2 weeks in the NHL, and you're like, he just scores like crazy. And you're like, this guy is becoming a star. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't score at all. He doesn't assist. He doesn't really do anything. And you're like, where'd he go? That's the thing. We actually forget that these guys are able to do that. Like Kyle Higashioka is able to have 8 home runs in a week. Like that's possible. They're talented enough as far as the whole world is concerned. These are the best athletes in the world. Anybody in professional baseball, football, you name it. But the problem is we get so caught up in the whole, like that's why the whole Linsanity thing, it lasted a month. Like he ended up becoming a better player because of that, like consistent, like he moved up as far as like bench role. Now people are talking about him. Now he's like a 6th man, but he was never going to stick around because he couldn't like successfully stay doing that. So
how would you rank this season for Jazz Chisholm if you just had to grade it from an A to an F? And you can go all the way up to an A+, obviously, if you had an Aaron Judge type season. Where would you grade the season?
I mean, I think it's a B-.
So he's had a B- season, according to you. I would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
I'm hovering around B-, B, right? Having said that, doesn't it go to show you that if you just put it in a vacuum and said, well, what if I told you Jazz was going to give you a 30-30 season? I think when you say 30-30, you just make the assumption that that was success. You don't even know the context of what it looked like. But Yankees fans in our comment section, they do know what it looks like. They watch it every day. They see the good side of it. You saw it today. He attempted to steal 3 bases, stole 2 of them. One of them was nonsensical. It was a stat pad attempt. And then you see him leave the yard he's going to leave the yard over 30 times in the season while stealing more than 30 bases in a season. You would think, objectively speaking, there's no way to say that that's not an awesome season. But what we're finding out about baseball is some of these numbers, probably more so the stolen base given the new rules, some of these 30-30 seasons and the 40-40 years that we used to chase like it was history. Yeah, it was history at the time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this is a player we have to have for the next decade. I don't think it means that. I think Jazz still has to prove himself in New York, and I think he can do it. I'm with you, Jake. I think he can, but it's only up to him. It's not up to Gary and Jake, the podcasters. Jazz has to show that it is right in front of him. He has to go out there and prove, yeah, I'm not just after 30 years. I'm going to show up to big games and I'm going to be a contributor and play smarter baseball. If he can do that alone, where people can't say he's a bad hitter with runners in scoring position, then he deserves to get paid here. He does.
Yeah, I do feel like there are times where I'm a little too hard on him, but I think I'm hard on him because I believe he should be so much better. And I think you see it. I mean, he's got the power to hit 40 home runs, but he's got the speed to steal 70 bases if he wants to in a season. And he's got the glove to be like an actual platinum glove. When he's on, he's one of the best fielders in baseball, truthfully. Now, you factor in all those things, and you're talking about somebody that's a fantastic player. But are you getting fantastic output? And the answer is no. I figured
out who he is. I know exactly who he is, and I found him in the NBA. Jazz is J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith. Brutal.
That is
J.R. Smith is brutal. A really good player in the NBA. For those of you basketball fans, if you really know the NBA, and obviously J.R. Smith towards the end of his career was more of a meme, and he forgets the score in the finals. That part, I'm not even comparing Jazz to that. But J.R. Smith for the Knicks,
I know who
which
he is.
A lot of our fans remember what type of basketball he was playing, and not just for the Knicks, but also for the Denver Nuggets, is that he had 360 dunks. He was a sharpshooter in the NBA. Really an underrated player when it's all said and done. I mean, he's done now, but if you really peel it back, you're like, man, he can change a game. He can go up there and score 18 points in a quarter. I'm literally watching for the Cleveland Cavaliers drop 26 points in a span of a quarter, and you're like, wow, how talented this guy is. If he could just take it a little bit more serious, be a little bit more consistent. That player was part of a championship run, by the way, a title run in 2016 for the Cavs. Then all of a sudden he's just making boneheaded plays the next year, and you're like, but why? This guy's so talented. That's who I see in Jazz Chisholm right now. This can change. And today was a really good start, absent of that stolen base attempt to third. I'm just going to pretend I didn't see it. But the rest of the day was awesome. And you threw the ball away, but you need overall, if you watch the entirety, all 9 innings, Jazz actually played good defense at second base today. So, yeah, I hope that this player, and by the way, Jazz stands to benefit the most from proving himself here in New York. We'll make him a very rich man if he can prove I'm not going to play stupid baseball from time to time. He needs and you said you're hard on him. I don't agree. I think you've been as honest as possible. You came out the gate and said, oh no, I think Jazz is going to be a star here. You have every reason to be rooting for yourself to be right. Who doesn't want to do that? And it's not helping you by saying, oh no, it's not exactly where I want it. I don't know. I think you want to see this work, and so do I.
Yeah, I think he kind of reminds me of Anthony Simons of, what the hell team is he on now?
Portland?
The Celtics? He's on the Celtics now, I guess.
Yeah, he's on the Celtics now, and I believe he started with Portland. Is that the player you're talking about?
Yes. So
okay.
I was going to say Cam Thomas initially, but Cam Thomas just is what he is. Like, he's a little immature. He's 23, right? Mm-hmm. But he's just a scorer. He was never like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Anthony Simons, I felt like he was a player, and he is getting better, to be fair. but the 3-point percentage was back in like the 40s, and now it's gone down to 36. So I feel like he's a player that should have more assists, have more rebounds, and I don't necessarily get that with Simons. I feel like he's somebody who he's just kind of gone with the whole I'm going to score 20 points, right? And I feel like when he was coming out of the draft, because I followed that draft, I remember him as a prospect, and when he was coming out of the draft, he felt like an all-around player, because the thing is, he was very similar to Rajon Rondo in that he had some crazy long wingspan at 6'3". So people look at him and be like, 6'3", and you thought he could rebound? Yes. Rondo had like a 6'10", 6'11" wingspan. He had like a 6'9" wingspan. So
you think like Jazz Chisholm should be an all-around baseball player? He very
that's
clearly...
That's what I want. I don't need the 40 home runs. I'll take 20
he thinks he's an all-around
runs.
player because he steals 30 bases. So I think that's what he sees. When you steal 30 bases, you hit 30 home runs, those numbers arbitrarily, I believe, to Jazz Chisholm means complete season, right? Yes. I was a complete player. I showed you speed. He told us within the first 3 weeks of the season starting, I'm going to try and combine my stolen bases with my home runs to outnumber Judge, right? So he was basically saying, I'm going to do both. Well, no, doing both would be hitting for contact and running the bases, right?
I'm going to push back on this one.
On what?
OBJ and Jazz are nowhere near the same. OBJ is somebody that, had he not been injured, would have retired potentially as one of the greatest, if not the greatest receiver ever. His numbers were insane before he got hurt. And even after getting hurt, he was still really good. He was just on the Browns.
I mean, I think he's really good. I don't know about the greatest, or I don't even know if I don't think I have him in the top 4, but I think he's a great receiver.
Well, no, I mean, like, he was off to the craziest start ever for a receiver. Like, you know how you were oohing and eyeing over Puka Nacua last year when we were doing our, Rams Eagles preview?
But I watched OBJ. I mean, I know what you're talking about, and I know the numbers. I mean, I played fantasy football. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah,
my thing is, though, I don't think Jazz, like, even back when Jazz's heyday, when he was a prospect, Jazz was never expected to be like OBJ.
Well, no. Jazz Chisholm wasn't expected to do anything. I think
he was a top prospect, but I don't think he was like...
Right, but it's like so was Jerks and Profar.
That's how I see him, is I see him as, okay, you're in the top 100 at one point or another. You're not top... OBJ, when he emerged, was like one of the best players in the league. Like, immediately. People are like, this dude's a star. And that's the thing. Like, he became a star overnight. Like, Jazz, if he ever got to that point, then the Diamondbacks don't trade him away. He's still on the Diamondbacks right now. Yeah, I don't think Jazz ever turns into a star. I would definitely rule that out. I just do. Because he's not actually approaching seeing the game the way we're attempting to get him to see it. He doesn't want to play the game the way that a lot of people in our comment section want for him. They just don't want it. I love an audience that's actually willing to have normal discussion and not freak out when we quote them. Be like, we appreciate all the comments and we do read them. Can't highlight everybody, obviously, because you guys are so consistent with the chat rate. It'd be a nightmare trying to talk about every single comment. But no, I appreciate this, because it's like, how many times, though, Gary, have you and I been like, yeah, this, and then somebody's, says something as well, like, oh, no, I appreciate that. I didn't think of it like that. Like, do we occasionally get, people in here? Yeah, but they're not our usuals. They're not our go-to people. They are here to cause issues. So, it's just one of those things. Pretty cool existence that they've got. Apex with the 2 says Ben Rice made them pay, and Cabby so clutch. We need some clutch hitting. We need some manufactured runs. We got that. It's got to continue in this series. Not sure how it's going to happen with Bello tomorrow.
He's dominated us every time he sees us. I'm interested to see what this lineup looks like tomorrow, what they build, and some of the choices they make. Because right now, Boston's offense is struggling. They're struggling to score runs. You should see blood in the water, like I said earlier.
They're bleeding
go out there
right
and
now.
dominate.
They're bleeding all over the diamond.
So maybe, Jake, perhaps Will Warren can take advantage of a struggling offense. That's going to be the most important game of the series. Could you imagine what the momentum would look like if Will Warren shows up? And more so even, we're going to give Will Warren credit if he goes out and dominates. But what if Boston's like, our offense has been a stinker, very similar to how the Yankees offense this past week, and no one really talked about it. It was terrible. We couldn't hit. We had 3 hits, 4 hits, 3 hits. That's not going to get it done. Well, Boston's struggling as well. Well, maybe Will Warren can stay in the game long enough where Crochet can dominate and you're still in the game. You can still go up against Boston's bullpen. What's up?
By the way, I'll put this back up. I just wanted to hit this. This is beautiful virtual. The vibes are so down without Anthony, it's clear as day. That right there is a superstar. Superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, the moment that a rookie leaves the building injured, and now they're not even the same team. They have veterans on this team. And they're still...
By the way, can I say something about rookies in Major League Baseball?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody talk about this anywhere. Not on MLB Network, CBS, ESPN.
So this will make for a nice clip.
On paper, we overrate how unimpactful rookies can be. We essentially just make it seem like, oh, well, this prospect came up. If he hits 250, we can use Jason Dominguez as a perfect example. He plays how he plays, right? Some people think, oh, this is already a dud. He's not a superstar. Others think, no, he's just, how old is he? 22 years old, Jake?
Yeah.
He's 22 years old. Other people say, well, he's just 22 years old. Well, Major League Baseball, the superstars in Major League Baseball, they show up in their the day one, almost immediately. Some players you certainly can name and be like, well, he took 6 months or he took a year and a half. That's certainly true. Most players that we name in the game today were awesome immediately, right away. Mike Trout's, like all those guys who show up and you're like, oh no, he's next. That guy is upper echelon. Roman Anthony shows up to Major League Baseball. Jack Caglione, same type of deal in Kansas City. They were bringing him up here to be excellent. But what's so interesting is the Yankees fans, we don't have that expectation. We do have our arms, but even then, Jake, we did it with Luis Gil last year. They're like, oh, but he's just a rookie. We should put him in bubble wrap, and they didn't pitch him again, right? Didn't pitch him in October. Then this year with Cam Schlittler, he's been awesome. We're some of his biggest fans, this podcast. And then people are like, pump the brakes, man. He's just a rookie. I'm like, just a rookie? The Boston Red Sox just lost a rookie who's been here for half a year, and as Virtual just mentioned, took the steam out of the building. 50,000 people. Completely took the wind out of their sails. Do you know why? Because it should have. That's why. Rookies can change the game if you develop correctly. A star, that is. So give Boston credit for developing Roman Anthony. It is a major strike of luck that he's not participating in this series for the Yankees. And I'll tell you right now that he's going to be a thorn in our side for a while. So get comfortable with his presence. We're gonna have to deal with him. We are, and just like we did with Rafael Devers, where it's just every time he comes to the stadium, you just know what it is. I think we're gonna be saying the same thing with Roman Anthony, but I'm up for the challenge. I know, Jake, you're excited about it as well. We love to see good series. We were just talking at the beginning of this year, we need Yankees Red Sox, both teams to be good. Roman Anthony probably is the face of that.
Yeah, and I love what you said because, I mean, there's so many different instances that you can go back to. I mean, even just 2022, they weren't top rookies, but you see the impact that an Oswaldo Cabrera call-up does, and, you know, Oswald Peraza, and these guys end up playing, they end up starting in the postseason, and that team was dead in the water. It looked like they had no momentum. They call those guys up. It lights a spark. I totally agree. It feels as though it's just a rookie until it's not. And you have to be like Roman Anthony in order to actually notice it. But think about this. Cam Schlittler is not getting the publicity that he deserves. Not at all.
It's only
for
'cause he's
pitching
young.
on the Yankees, he's not getting it what he deserves. That said, if he went down, knock on wood, and I got wood right here. If he went down tomorrow, the Yankees would feel it. They looked like a completely different team when Oswaldo Cabrera went down. I think people really underestimate when somebody is able to integrate themselves into your clubhouse, integrate themselves in your everyday, and then they also produce. Because there's a lot of friendly faces, Gary. I know you can attest to that. Your dad, was around plenty of faces. There's a lot of friendly faces. There's a lot of nice guys. They might not be that great at baseball. When you get to the MLB, they're great world-wise, sure.
Yeah.
But when you have a guy that integrates perfectly in your clubhouse, is not just a friendly face, but also helps you on the baseball diamond, and then that guy goes down like a Roman Anthony, well, now that hits you every direction. You're getting hit. So I feel like I like that you brought that up, and a really good example, not the injury part, but just calling somebody up. Bryce Harper, the impact that had, and then calling up Mike Trout instantly. Mike Trout was like, "Oh wow, okay, we should have done this earlier."
And we know those are phenoms. We completely understand it, but guys, keep in mind, Jason Dominguez was a phenom. They told us that this is what it's going to be, and then when they get here and they hit 250 with moderate pop and played bad defense, they go, "Oh well, he's just young." Man, say that about Mike Trout, because guess what? The second you get here, that clock starts. It's going to take you to what, year 3 or 4 to become great. Anthony Volpe, becomes? Let's just say he has a great year in year 4 next year. Well, good for you. You're already in arbitration. So the whole premise of going young is to be cheaper and be able to have control over quality assets. Well, I'll tell you guys right now, it's not any cheaper if it takes you 3 or 4 years for your top-end rookie talent to be good. That's not a good thing. So the fact that Cam Schlittler's good as a rookie, people should be covering that for what it is. I think if Cam Schlittler was 3 or 4 years down the road and then he was pitching this way, they'd probably be covering it a lot more. But the fact that he's a rookie, they just almost act like, oh, it'll be here today and gone tomorrow. Or show it to me when you're a vet. I don't understand that premise. I think he's every bit as a threat as any vet in this league.
I think it's also on the league. I think they should market their young players more. Your draft is already barely watched. Let's just be honest here. It takes them 3 to 4 years to get to the big leagues. Now it's
rightfully so, by the way. The draft is just stupid.
No, I get that. Not everybody takes 3 to 4 years to get to the big leagues, but you know what I mean. Like on average, it takes 3 to 4 years. You get a Paul Skeens, he's up the next year, right?
Right.
But I just feel like when I look at the NBA, actually the NBA doesn't do it well either. I really don't like the way they market rookies at all. I think the NFL does it the best. Now, is that fantasy football being, just like a whole event and everything? Maybe. But think about it. Malik Neighbors last year, playing for the Giants. The Giants aren't good. Sorry, Giants fans. They're not good. They weren't good last year. They're not good this year.
They're not good next year either. I'm here from the future.
Yeah. The Malik Neighbors was a huge name. Everybody was talking about him, right? And he's playing for the Giants, right? So then you have, what's his name? Scattaboo just won the Angry Run Scepter. This guy had -3 yards on 2 carries and just got an NFL Network award for 1 run. They market rookies in the NFL better than anywhere. But the MLB,
technically, it's probably because it's much easier to play football.
I get that.
For example, you could be drafted 4th overall in the NFL, or you could be drafted 4th overall, Ezekiel Elliott to the Cowboys. The very first year you show up, they're like, he's got a great offensive line. He runs like a bat out of hell. And it's there the next year. So you're seeing at Ohio State 1 year, and then the following season, you're like, oh, there he is running for the Cowboys. So it's much easier to market something when people know, oh, I'm going to see that in 6 months. Whereas if somebody shows you, I literally just saw it. I saw it. What was it? It was a commercial for The Odyssey. Did you see that movie's coming out? I couldn't even remember. I think it was Christopher Nolan, and he's directing it. I saw a commercial for it a year ago. I saw a commercial 1 year ago for this movie, and I'm like, oh, that looks pretty good. And they're like, summer of 2026. I'm like, what? Why are you showing this to me?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same premise with showing I guess, drafted players in baseball is that you don't see the dude unless he's a phenom for 4 years. So I would agree with you. I think baseball needs to do a better job of storytelling. If Cam Schlittler shows up to the yard, you shouldn't treat him like he's a project that they need to complete by 2028. You should be treating him like a phenom.
They were doing it with Jack Caglione. They were. And then he slowed down, and then they just kind of were like, yeah, all right, let's get him away. Let's just wipe him under the rug. They were doing it with
Holiday.
Yep. They were doing it with Holiday. They've done it well with Roman Anthony. Like, I feel the stardom with Roman Anthony. Bobby Witt Jr. They've done it well with Bobby Witt Jr. Gunnar Henderson, right? But it doesn't feel like it's all over the place. Like, James Wood should be known by everybody. James Wood is not known by most baseball fans. Like, you have to be, like, in the trenches. That's insane to me. He's one of the better hitters in baseball. One of the more feared hitters in baseball. Young, right? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, how many people... I said Kyle Stowers the other day. I forget who I was talking to. I was at, like, a bar or something, and we were talking baseball, and I mentioned Kyle Stowers and how, like, I thought it was the dumbest trade last year, trading him away for Rodgers, right? The Orioles did. Dude didn't know what I was talking about. I'm like, Kyle Stowers is one of the best hitters in the NL. How do you not know who that is?
Not their fault. It's
not their fault.
At all.
It's the
By
MLB
the way, guys,
not marketing these guys.
This seems like some pretty big news, and we want to deliver it. This isn't Tigers Unloaded. It's not. But some news today. Tarik Skubal, I know the coverage, and we delivered it, was that Tarik Skubal is not pitching against the Yankees. We got a bullpen day in that final game that we did beat Detroit. We took one game. It felt like that Boston series. But Tarik Skubal pitched today. He left in, I believe, the 4th inning. And it was called a left side rib cage. They called it a left oblique rib cage area. And he's saying, and I quote, "I'm obviously going to be optimistic," Skubal said after the game. "I understand that I took myself out of a game, and that's the first time I've done that in my career. So I understand that there's some sort of concern." Now, this quote, while we're not getting any information technically, him leaving the game is news for the entire American League. If you're matched up with Detroit, this could be a problem. This is not the time to go down in mid-September. Having said all of this, that quote right there, "I'm being optimistic," tells me I'm waiting to find out results tomorrow with some type of scan, which it sounds very uncommitted and uncertain is what that sounded like. So that is potentially groundbreaking news for the American League. That does not sound good at all if you're a Tigers fan. And of course, we said this about 15 minutes ago. We don't root for injuries, but injuries are a factor in sports. They always have been. They are in the NFL, probably more so than people would like. Baseball, we get Tommy John surgeries left and right, especially with guys throwing 100. You lose Roman Anthony, he's gone the rest of the regular season. It's a factor. Detroit may have to deal with this factor the rest of the year. And at the very least, Jake, we know Detroit is going to bubble wrap him for the rest of the regular season. That could really affect his sharpness, even if you do see him. So I thought that news was wild, and I wanted to bring it.
Yeah, no, that is wild. I hope he's okay. Really like watching him pitch. And it's funny, I was just echoing this earlier on my Rams show. Because the Rams are playing the Titans, and it feels like the two of the best players on the Titans are out. And I am not like, I know some fans, like when they're not confident in their team, they're not happy that a guy's injured. They're happy he's not playing. And I understand that because when I was younger, I totally felt that way, right? I wasn't happy he was injured, but I was like, now I'm like, I just want to beat the best at their best. That's always how I've felt. I would never want to, in a million years, watch the Yankees play against the Detroit Tigers in the ALCS and Skubal's out for the year. I feel like that's just like super lame.
Because technically, this is the entertainment industry. We want as many people watching as possible. If you go into a championship game and the other team's best player blows out his kneecap, your chances have significantly increased. But is that the way you want to win? Certainly, there's going to be a certain subcategory of fan who's like, we don't really give a shit how we won. We just want to win. And I understand the concept. I do. But we want these guys to play. I want to see Tarik Skubal. I want to know that the Yankees and everything that Boone's gone through this year, the way this Yankees offense looks, everyone in our comment section says they can't hit good pitching. Well, what better time to prove yourself than to walk in October, see Tarik Skubal fully healthy, and beat his ass? That's what I want to see. So hope this bounces the right way for Detroit, and then we go beat them.
That right there. The Halliburton injury, it's like...
I turned it off after that. It's not an entertainment. That's not entertaining in any way. It's stupid.
Now, I understand, and this is the prestige of winning a Super Bowl, a World Series, a Stanley Cup, all of that. There is an element to the game, and the element is survival of the fittest. And it's not necessarily who has the best team at the end of the day,
right,
left standing. It's who has the best team left standing that is able to operate as the best team left standing. And what I mean is when you have those injuries, how do you overcome them? And you look at the Braves and they don't, and we bring it up all the time, but they are literally the perfect example of you lose your best player in Ronald Acuna Jr. and you still find a way to climb the mountaintop and win it all. And it's one of those things like, for instance, the Chargers are going to have to do that this year. They lost their left tackle, Rashawn Slater, who they just paid. He's out for the year. You wouldn't know that. They just took down the AFC champions week 1.
But then if the Braves lost, then what are they saying? What are fans saying internally? Man, well, there's a little asterisk there because we didn't get an opportunity to play one of the best players in the world. Yeah. And then the other team's like, are you kidding me? Like, why did we play this damn thing? Why did we play the games if you have a built-in excuse? We don't want a built-in excuse. We don't want that at all. Want to get to some supers here. Jersey Flow with the 2 says, rank your favorite MLB parks you've visited. I'm going to say my favorite park is Petco. Just a clear-cut number 1. I think just being downtown, right there downtown in San Diego, perfect. I'm also going to go, I'll give you a top 2. I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I love it. It's a shame that they don't put a competitive baseball team over there, but night games in Pittsburgh, oh yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with those 2. And then I'll probably, last but not least, I'll go with 3, Jake, so just so you get 3, because I know you've got a couple.
Yeah, I haven't been to too many stadiums.
I'll go with the Giants. I'm going to go with the Giants on the water like that. Beautiful.
All right. So I haven't been to any of those stadiums for the most part. I've been to Fenway. I've been to Yankee Stadium. Okay. I've been to Turner Field. Is that even still a thing? Or did they knock Turner Field down?
Yeah, it's not called Turner anymore, though.
Is it still the same ballpark, though, or did they knock it down?
I don't remember. Honestly, well, our comment section would know. I feel like it's been knocked down, but guys, do you know?
Darn. One of my I enjoyed that. They had like $5 like seat and hot dog. I'm waiting for the comment section to tell me. Anyway, so do we count stadiums that have closed? We're gonna have to, because I don't even know if I have 3 stadiums that are open. So Fenway, Yankee Stadium I've been to. I've been to Citi Field, but not for a game. I've only been for a Green Day concert. What was it? RFK, which they don't play there anymore. The Nationals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Turner Field, Wrigley. I've been outside of what was Jacobs Field at the time. Obviously, I never went in.
So which are your favorite?
Yeah, that's it. So, okay. My favorite has always and will always be Fenway Park. I love the old school vibe of it. Okay. So Fenway's number 1 for me. Yankee Stadium's number 2. Okay. And number 3. I think I'm going to go with Wrigley.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Wrigley.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only problem with Wrigley, the only thing I didn't like about it is the factor of the wind. Like, I know people are like, oh, I've got a hard on for watching the elements. Okay. But there's like a ball hit that should have went across the damn street over the left field bleachers, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we're really sorry, but it's the Windy City, so the wind was blowing in 64 miles an hour into home plate." I'm like, "Why are we playing here then? Like, give us a dome, will you?" So I love the park. I think the vibe is beautiful. Obviously, they have great fans over there, but I couldn't take the wind, which has nothing to do with the stadium, but I just feel like it's a factor you have to deal with. It's kind of like playing in Buffalo. Like, do I really want to go see a football game? The Buffalo Bills may have a beautiful stadium, but do I want to sit in 10 degrees
my
below
God.
zero
You have
to go
no
watch
idea.
it?
Have you been to Buffalo?
Yes, I have.
Dude, I saw the Rams-Bills game in 2012.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Sam Bradford.
It's hard to believe people live there on purpose, right?
Dude, that was the coldest day of my life. The seats were frozen.
Yeah.
Like, it was awful, dude. It was like the lake effect snow. Oh, dude, it was so bad. It was so bad. And then the second coldest day of my life was going to MetLife Stadium and seeing the Rams Jets game last year. I couldn't believe how cold it was because it was the wind chill. Just kills you. It rips right through. I had like 3 jackets on and a hoodie and a jersey. Just ripped right through all of it.
It's better than the heat. I know when you go
I'll
a
take the
certain
heat.
direction, the heat for me, I get overheated very quickly. Can't do it at all.
I'll
And
still take the
Apex
heat.
with the 2 says Grand Slam, Giants, Mets now tied for wild card. LOL.
That's hilarious. But that's better for baseball. I just, honestly, the Mets aren't that great of a team. They got Juan Soto. That's great. They have Francisco Lindor. But you have said this. They did not care to do anything after getting Juan Soto. They just didn't. This is what you reap what you sow.
They did projects.
Yeah,
I
not
think
good.
they bit off too many projects, which, by the way, the reason that we can diagnose this so well is because we do it too.
Yeah.
Oh, we can go get Cruz, and mind you, like, some of those projects work. Like Fernando Cruz overall has worked, but then there's other projects like Bird, right? And I promise you guys, if Bird was working out right now, Brian Cashman would have the lotion out and be like, "Look at us, look at what we did.
Oh my God.
Look at this reclamation project, and you guys thought this was a bad deal. See how smart I am?" And that's exactly what you saw with Clay Holmes. And you're talking about, you're looking at their entire rotation. You're like, okay, well, Clay Holmes may get out the gate strong in 4 or 5 starts, but what do you think this is going to look like after 110 innings? What do you think this is going to be at inning 135? You think this is going to work? And people were calling me just a complete moron. Like, I didn't know baseball, and those people forgot how to type. They haven't talked to me since, for a reason, guys. You cannot go sign a player and I have no problem with this. You go pay $800 million for a player. I don't give a crap how much money Juan Soto makes. Good for him. Well, when you sign that deal, you need to fill out the rest of the roster. It's not just Juan Soto pitching and hitting and fielding ground balls at short and left field. No, you need to field a baseball team. This is why Ohtani went to the Dodgers to go win. It's not just one guy. And you get the one guy, you need to fill out a ball club. They didn't do that. They didn't. So obviously, credit to the Giants. I was starting to feel bad for the Giants, right? The whole Correa thing fell through. They didn't get Aaron Judge. They were the highest bidder. Didn't get him. The Giants have taken their lumps these past couple years, and things are starting to bounce their way. And they're looking scarily and just eerily like their 2014 teams, where they're not a great team, but they get hot at the right time in September. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Giants just showed up and bumped out the Los Angeles Dodgers out the first round.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. I'd enjoy that.
I'm calling that now, actually. The Giants are going to knock out the Dodgers. So there, I said it.
I'm sorry, Virtual. It's nothing against you. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I get a kick out of the fact that Mets fans just told Yankee fans all year last year, hey, enjoy Juan Soto for a year. He's ours. It's like, enjoy Juan Soto. You're not going to be in the postseason. Like, I think that is hilarious. Poetic justice.
Juan Soto,
if you ask me.
it's not when you sign any one player, it's not a baton to winning. It's only a key contributor towards winning if what else is going on is enough.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani doesn't mean a damn thing in Major League Baseball if he's got a bunch of jabroni Jimmy Bob Billies in the outfield and patrolling the infield. Who cares if Shohei Ohtani hits 65 home runs if the rest of the team's an auto out? Doesn't matter, right? They said that about the Yankees last year. Outside of Soto and Judge, you guys have Verdugo struggling, right? You've got Rizzo struggling, and they were right. You need a more well-rounded team, and that doesn't mean get rid of Soto and then sprinkle the money around it. No, it means if you bring in a Soto, you can't stop there. The Mets did, and they're paying for that.
Yeah. Well, looking at tomorrow's game, and then we'll get to the voicemails. Yes, voicemails. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did. Anyway. We got, you see here, Red Sox are favorited. You got Max Fried taking on Braian. Sorry, I understand. You probably can't see that.
Not even close.
There we go. So you got the Red Sox, Braian Bello, 11-6, 3.12 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, and 152 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 134 hits. He has 114 strikeouts. He's given up 14 home runs and 51 walks. Max Fried is 16-5 with a 3.02 ERA at a 1.10 WHIP, 176 innings, only given up 148 hits, 163 strikeouts he's had, 46 walks, 13 home runs. Gary, I'm going with the good guys. I'm going to take the Yankees in this one. I think they win the series. I think they bludgeon that monkey. Now, bludgeoning the monkey is just winning the series. I don't think that they win Sunday. Let's make that very freaking clear. I've seen Garrett Crochet enough to know that guy, you might as well just look at him and think of Dallas Keuchel. He is going to be an auto loss every time you face him. But I think Max Fried gets it done tomorrow. I think this is going to be a really close game, but I think the Yankees prevail. We do see Bednar. I think they're going to treat this game. They're going to be aggressive tomorrow. They're going to go for the series win. And I think they're willing to even maybe not be as prepared in the bullpen on Sunday because they're going to go all out for this win. I have the Yankees winning 4-3.
Okay. I don't have as high of hopes. I don't have as high of hopes as you do against Bello. I just don't. But having said that, it's Bello. It's not Paul Skeens. So he's certainly susceptible to making mistakes. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm just not going to overdo it. I'm not. Max Fried he honestly wasn't very good in his last start. He needs to be much better. There's not going to be a situation where you can afford to give up 3 runs in the first 2 innings and then shut it down from there. It's going to take more than that to win this game. This is going to be a sweat-it-out fest. If you guys think you're going to go watch and hope the bats get to Bello and it's going to be a comfortable win, they win by 2 or 3, I promise you guys it won't be. The Yankees are going to be sitting in a 1-run game at best in the 6th or 7th inning, and they're going to have to find ways to bridge, more than likely, Jake, to your point, and I love that you brought this up because I was going to. You very well could see Bednar for multi-out. You're talking 4 or 5 outs and just surrender the fact that he won't pitch Sunday. And I'm perfectly okay with that.
100%.
You have to attack every single game like it is the last game that you've got. Because if Bednar, let's just say you make the decision, okay, well, we're gonna pitch him 1 inning and we don't want to overwork him. Well, he's not pitching Sunday no matter what anyway. So you might as well empty the tank and go for win number 2 in game 2. Because the least likely game for you to win is far and away Sunday. That's the game you probably want Bednar sitting out of if you really have to. So maybe they bring in Yarborough Sunday towards the middle of the game. Who knows what they do? But in this game, it's going to come down to Max Fried. Can he go tit for tat with Bello? I'm interested to see if he does, but so far, long-term data shows the Yankees are getting, I'd probably say final score tomorrow, 4-2. Boston.
You think they win?
No.
No, you think they lose? Okay.
Yeah, and again, guys, this isn't I'm not gambling. I'm not doing any of those things. The Yankees have to prove they can do something they haven't done. We know that what they've done in that 1 start against Bello, but a ton of starts have happened in between, and that's part of the reason for my prediction. I hope they have, obviously Caballero's playing. The speed has to be a factor tomorrow. If you're going to win, you need to run the bases. You're going to have to drop down some bunts. you're going to have to make some quality, productive outs. And will they do it and have an encore of what you saw today? I hope so. I'm rooting for that.
Yeah, no, I am too. I do think they get the win. Looking forward to tomorrow's game. Should be a good one. And just so you guys know, Monday, no off day. They actually go this full, well, I don't know if it's the full, so it's a 10-day road trip. That's pretty crazy. But this is what it takes, man. Take care of business against Boston. You win 2 out of 3 at least. Then you got Minnesota. You're gonna have Rodon, Schlittler, and Heel on the hill for those games.
Length from the starters is going to be the most important thing. If you've got no days off, how do you get those days off? You need 6 and 7 innings. You can't go 5. I understand that that's a lot to ask of pitchers, especially in today's game, but they made the schedule right long ago. You have to deal with it, and we also, on the other side, there's of this rainbow, there's a pot of gold. We see Chicago, right? Those are the days where you're like, okay, maybe we're up 6 or 7. Those are our days off ahead of October. So they're not showing up right now.
Chicago off and off day.
If we don't beat the brakes off of Chicago, I'm not sure
what we've
Yankee Stadium.
Done. So I don't even know what to tell you.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, if you're new here at Yankees Unloaded, please be sure to smash the subscribe button, hit the like button. Not everyone does it. I don't think people think it's impactful, although watching a 2-hour show, it is. It absolutely is. We would love, if people just did it anyways on their own, they probably should do a better job of putting the thumbs up, more accessible, and reminding people, hey, you've been here 90 minutes, maybe you can do that. But we really appreciate when you guys go about doing it, and obviously we would love to have you guys back. But Jake, do we want to get to our voicemails?
Yes, we do. So
how many we got, by the way?
We got 3. We're going to start with Guy. This one came at 1:34 p.m., so this is a prediction, I would assume.
Love this. Can't wait.
Hello, everyone. Tonight's game is a must-win for the Yankees. And keep in mind, it's also a very big series for the Red Sox. I don't think the breakout last night against relievers means their slump is over. I see a low-scoring game, a nail-biter type game tonight. Looking at Giolito, his best pitch is a four-seam fastball with a lot of run, making it tough on left-handed batters. We need to see Heel walk less than his 4.4 walks per 9 innings. He needs to have command of his best pitch, which is his fastball, to be successful tonight. Yankees lineup, I don't want to see McMahon over Rosario or even Stanton playing, but I think we will. They are just much smarter than everyone else. Yankees win tonight in a nail-biter 4-3. All right.
Oh. That was a nice prediction. And by the way, when he mentioned how you're talking about Giolito against the left-handed arms, I actually want to provide some data here. Grisham was controlled today. He was 0 for 5, right? Now, Jazz was a key contributor, 2 for 4. And thankfully, they gave him the hit on that ball that caromed off of Jason Dominguez. But then you also got Ryan McMahon, who was 1 for 4 with the bunt single. So, yeah, but also Ben Rice was 2 for 3. Our lefties actually did somewhat of a serviceable job today. So I want to give them credit. Yeah, nice running fastball there. But that score was pretty close. It's not easy to make predictions in baseball, but that was a good one.
Yeah, no, that was really good. I didn't know I was stealing your prediction for today for tomorrow. So I have 4-3 on Saturday's game. I don't think I had one for this. I think I said something like, I don't know, like 6-5 or so. I thought that they would get after Giolito and win, but
how do you take out a guy when he's pitching a no-hitter? I don't care what the circumstances are. If he hasn't given up any hits, you don't take him out. Why do we do that? And now Fernando Cruz is in the game, because obviously that's a great guy to have with a 4-run league. Only a 4-run league. Maybe for other teams, the 4-run league is a lot, but for the Yankees, it obviously isn't a lot. But that isn't even the main point. Why do you take him out? You need to keep using the guy who has not given up any hits until he inevitably or eventually gives up a hit. You don't take him out for no reason whatsoever. Boone is an idiot. Boone is the worst manager ever. Fire Baboon.
See, that Fire Baboon was actually genuine. So, I mean, I just love that. That was a genuine Fire Baboon. So, really, what Ninja Hot Dog is getting at here is we saw 4 pitchers today. We went Heel, Cruz, Williams, Bednar. It probably should have looked something like Heel, and you wipe out one of those 3 names. One of them. And just it's one less factor. So I agree. Thought the timing of pulling him didn't really make sense, but I think also the Yankees know this is a guy that's dealt with injuries in the past. He's still a young player technically. This is just year 2. Maybe, Jake, that was a factor. So do I necessarily agree with it wholeheartedly? No. But do I track at least, and this is always what I try to do, why they maybe did what they did? Yeah, I think I understand it.
All right, now we got Kyle Malay to end the show.
Hey, Jake and Gary, this is Kyle Malay. Great win by the Yankees tonight. Luis Hill was awesome. 6-0 hit innings. Too bad his pitch count was too high. And then Judge, and then I think that was the only home run they hit tonight. The other 3 runs, they actually didn't hit a homer. But, yeah, it was nice not seeing Volpe out there again, which he should. I don't think he's playing this whole series. No. Yankees need to win tomorrow because I think Sunday's a loss with Crochet on the mound. But hopefully we can win 2 out of 3 at least. And, yeah, let's all have a good night and go Yankees.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, we definitely track that.
Say hi, Caitlin. Hi. And we got to move tomorrow.
Oh, we had a special guest there. So, okay. Kyle tracks what we're saying. Sunday seems like a wash, with all due respect to Will Warren. We want to leave some room that it's baseball. God, I'd love to know what the line looks like. What a day to gamble on the Yankees. If you're ever going to get into gambling, fading Boston Sunday, you'd probably, to hell with playing the Powerball, you probably could play that game and get the same payout. So
Yankees
tomorrow's
plus
must
300.
And it won't be that good. I almost guarantee it. I feel like they won't give it.
It'll be like plus 280. I'll say that. I think it'll be plus 280.
Well, that's enough to fade at that point. I mean, that's some pretty big coin.
Yeah,
we'll see what it is. We'll pull
the Yankees will be plus 280. That's what I think. And though I think they win the second game, and then the books are always on it. If a team has won 2 straight, they're obviously the probability goes down of them sweeping a series. So, yeah, factor that into the fact that this team is terrible against Crochet, and there you go.
Come on. I'm sitting there trying to pull up the Yankees depth chart. I'm making the prediction right now. We're going to get a Paul Blackburn sighting on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. We'll
Paul Blackburn will pitch on Sunday. It's not what you want, but I promise you,
it's not what you want.
Paul Blackburn somehow, some way is going to find his way to the mound. We're always rooting for the Yankees to win. I just have a feeling. But
Blackburn?
Go Yankees for game 2.
Slater? No, I don't know if Slater plays.
Slater?
Rosario definitely is in the lineup Sunday. I'm calling it.
You know who I am worried about, by the way? I'm very worried about this outing for tomorrow's game, and it just dawned on me now. I wasn't thinking of it before. I am worried about seeing Luke Weaver in tomorrow's outing. I am. I don't feel confident in what he's done, and when you look at sort of where we are as far as our what do they call it again? The bullpen chart. That bullpen chart that you've crumpled up, thank you.
I didn't know this was going to be a prop. It's literally...
Yeah, no one knew.
Yeah.
But I am very worried about Luke Weaver. I am. I'm very worried about bullpen budget. I'm concerned. And again, could he fix it? Yeah. There's been a couple weeks where he does get it back going, but of late, it's been shaky. And I just don't know if I want to put somebody in there that has been shaky of late in a absolute must-win game 2. You don't win game 2, you probably lose the series more than likely. So that's what you're dealing with. And it could go well. I don't want to see it. I would rather see multi-inning. I would probably almost rather see Ryan Yarbrough come out of the bullpen tomorrow than Luke Weaver. That's how I'm feeling.
I get that. I totally understand that. Yeah, Luke Weaver doesn't have it right now. Is that going to change? We'll see. But no, I'm definitely echoing that. Who knows? Maybe we see Blackburn tomorrow. I don't know.
Well, if we see Blackburn tomorrow, that's probably not a good thing. He has looked good, but he's also, the situations he's coming in are...
That's
the Yankees
true.
are up 5. It's the 7th. Hey, let's put him in there. He'll pitch 7th, 8th, and 9th. And there's value in that. There's no question
if
about
they get
it.
after Bello, maybe we see Blackburn. That's a victory cigar.
I mean, that'd be quite the development. We just get to a pitcher that we just... Maybe a repeat of that one performance that we saw. Who knows, right? No Roman Anthony. Take the wind out of their sails early. Drop a 3 spot.
That's what
you never know what could happen. It is what you want. So, B-Rye says that Blackburn is our closer in training.
Oh,
love
boy.
that.
Good Lord.
Love it. Love the faith that our show's got. We appreciate the positivity. So, Jake, what do we want them to put in the comment section if you stayed here? Because evidently William Wallace was not here the final minute of our podcast last night because you said monkey, and he's like, oh, monkey? Monkey.
I know. It's like you really didn't
watch the end of the show. But
anyway,
neither here nor there. What do we want them to put in there? Let's put something baseball related. How about this?
I was going to do all in because that's what the bullpen should be tomorrow. All in.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Just move your chips to the middle of the table. You are all in
for game 2.
All in for game 2. It's that simple. If you want to win tomorrow, you have to put your best. You have to put your best chips on the table. You have to put Bednar out there. You have to. Well, you're thinking about the bullpen. And you're like, who? I don't even know.
Bednar. So it's going to be Bednar.
And Yarbrough.
We're going to eventually get to Bednar and Fried. So Fried's got to pass the baton. Could you imagine if we got 8 innings or 7 in a third from Fried tomorrow? It'd be the biggest development. I'm calling right now.
That's what you want.
No, I can't call it. I already said we were losing. But go Yankees. Drop in the comment section. All in for game 2. If you drop that in here, we'll know you were in here 2 hours and almost 3 minutes into the show. We'd really appreciate that. And of course, Jake, you got to make sure they like this video.
Yeah, no, definitely. And real quick, I want to start a new trend here.
Oh, what?
All right. So before we sign off, Gary and I are going to, he doesn't know this yet. We're going to predict everybody that comes in from the bullpen. Every game. That's what we're doing from now on. So real quick.
Luke Weaver's pitching. Doval, they're going to be like, you have no control. You're not pitching.
They're going to go Weaver Hill. Weaver Hill, Bednar.
There.
Boom.
Weaver Hill, Bednar. We are all in for game 2. And for those of you who are new here, we appreciate you dropping it in the live chat that we're all in for game 2. Go into the comment section after the video's over, after reloading in when we're gone, and drop it in there. We'll see you after the fact, and we obviously will have a little bit of a conversation. Yeah, Weaver.
Sorry,
I'm telling you guys, you're going to see Weaver. We're rooting for the absolute best. We need to win this game.
Yeah.
So, all in. And Travi, we already did the 10K jersey giveaway. It's already been ordered and sent out and received. So, we really appreciate all the new subscribers. Really appreciate you guys. And make sure you guys like this video.